Item hash SCP-5361. Object class neutralized. Special containment procedures. Foundation web crawlers were to monitor UK weather agencies and other media outlets reporting on abnormal weather patterns detected to be as a result of SCP-5361-1, suppressing this information from public view. SCP-5361-1 was prepared to be contained within a corporeal entity containment chamber at Site-301, with a Faraday cage constructed around the unit. The activity of SCP-5361-1 was to be monitored at all times. If SCP-5361-1 began to dematerialize, an inbuilt SHRA would be activated. As of 20/6/2021, SCP-5361 and -1 are considered neutralized. Description: SCP-5361 were a series of weather phenomena that occurred based on the emotional state of SCP-5361-1, a humanoid entity, superficially resembling a late Dr. Fordham who died on 27/5/2021. SCP-5361-1 produced an intermittent antiemetic effect on subjects viewing it and would manifest at a variable time at a variable location within the UK before beginning to wander without direction. After traveling for roughly 2 hours, SCP-5361-1 would dematerialize. SCP-5361-1 was not affected by outside stimuli, capable of walking through solid surfaces, and would ignore any attempts at communication. As of 20/6/2021, SCP-5361-1 has yet to manifest again. Dr. Fordham was killed during a head-on collision after the Foundation vehicle swerved off the road and hit a civilian vehicle. Dr. Fordham was situated in the front passenger seat. Upon hearing what had occurred, Dr. Roberts was allowed a week off work for grieving purposes. Addendum Point 2. Roughly 2 weeks after its discovery, Dr. Roberts was informed about the manifestation of SCP-5361-1. Dr. Roberts applied for a test to be conducted on SCP-5361-1. This application was approved. Date: 26/2021. Procedure: Dr. Roberts would make contact with SCP-5361-1 and attempt to communicate with the entity. Purpose: to test whether SCP-5361-1 will react when presented with a person of interest from Dr. Fordham's life. Results: while SCP-5361-1 had begun to walk down an alley, Dr. Roberts rounded the corner and stood in front of SCP-5361-1. SCP-5361-1 proceeded to tilt its head downwards to observe Dr. Roberts, before they both embraced each other in a hug. SCP-5361-1 then proceeded to dematerialize. Note: after a prolonged absence of SCP-5361-1 once the test had concluded, the item was reclassified as neutralized.